We're going to start with just a little old story. In fact, it's the story that everybody is talking about. It is the verdict in the Johnny Depp-Amber Heard trial. So a jury ruled in favor of Depp. That Heard, in fact, did defame him when she described herself as a victim of domestic abuse in a 2018 Washington Post article, though she did not name Johnny Depp by name as her abuser. So Depp has now been awarded $15 million in damages, and this might not be over yet. A spokesperson for Heard says she will appeal. I do want to say it wasn't in the script, but she was also awarded $2 million in damages because he was found liable in one of the 3 charges against him. Okay, Lita, this has been the case that has taken over the world, certainly this side of the globe. What are your thoughts on this outcome?
You know, it has been just so difficult and disturbing, I think, for almost everyone who has followed it at all. And for me, the disturbing part is that there's really been 2 trials. So there's been the trial that happened in Virginia in a court of law, and there's been the trial of public opinion. And yesterday, we got a verdict in one. We got that verdict, and yes, okay, it has come down, whether you agree with it or not, against Amber Heard on a very specific topic, and that topic was defamation. You know, did she do something in print to harm Johnny Depp's career? And it is deemed now legally that she has. However, in the court of public opinion, that verdict is getting conflated to mean something entirely different about Amber Heard and to be a very general notion of her guilt that, you know, is creeping into the area of abuse. And abuse, let me just say, that was not an issue that was central to this trial. Nobody was on trial for abuse, not Amber Heard and not Johnny Depp. And this is my concern about what happens to the sanctity and the rule of law when we have a public televised, popcorn, scandalous, you know, reality TV show trial like this.
Mia, are you a writer? Because you just summarized that so well, truly.
Funny, Jess, I am.
So perfectly well. You're very good with words. That was fantastic. And on that note, it's people in the court of public opinion are now saying Johnny Depp is innocent of abuse. Which
He's not guilty either. We don't know.
Exactly.
And then this never should have been broadcast. Can I just say that? Like, I think, given how high profile both the people involved are, and the time that we're living in, where everything can be turned into a meme. There was a hashtag that was trending called Amber Turd. Like, there was just, we already have had experience on a smaller scale of what can happen when trolls and you know, people who have just decided that they don't like somebody, what kind of damage they can do. And so this particular trial was possibly the worst case. And I think it's so interesting what you just described, because let's not forget that this is actually the second defamation lawsuit. So in 2020, Johnny Depp sued a British tabloid for calling him a wife beater. And he lost.
This was in the UK.
They found him guilty of 12 out of 14.
That's right. They found the vast majority of Heard's claims to be substantially true. So again, as you say, this trial was not about whether or not he abused her. It was to determine whether or not she when she wrote that Washington Post op-ed, whether she intentionally wanted to harm him. And what I found most interesting is the fact that she's sharing now, saying that this is my right to tell my story. And I think this just throws into like this. Of course, isn't that what so many people have been fighting for right now? But the right to tell your story. She never mentioned him by name. And I'll just leave it with this. He wrote in a text that came out during this trial.
Oh God!
Even though she didn't want to go to trial for this at all, she begged for this just to go away. He wrote in a text at that time saying she is begging for total global humiliation, and she's going to get it. So it's just interesting to let that sit about who is intentionally trying to harm who.
Yeah. I just want to go to a Facebook message, and Yakaj, I hope I'm saying your name correctly, writes, I'm glad that the lies were exposed. Too many men are caught up in lies like this, and it ruins their lives. Amber had an agenda going into this relationship. It's shocking the degree she chose to go for fame. Karma gets ya every time. So I think it speaks to what you said at the beginning, which is the conflation of the court of public opinion and what is happening. I love that you also brought up the UK case, because a lot of people thought, and many experts are saying, it is extremely rare that in such a similar case that two different outcomes would happen.
Yeah.
They thought it was actually going to be harder for this case to be successful in Depp's favor in the US, because the free speech laws have such a high threshold here,
Right.
even by comparison to the UK. And yet the other people said, well, then why did it work here for Depp? And they said it comes down to law. And there was a strategy that was used in the US that was not, very similar strategy, I guess, was used in the UK, but in the UK it was a judge-only trial. And in the US, this case was tried by jury. And there was a tactic that has a name among lawyers, and it is called the Darvo tactic. And they did it against Amber. It is called deny, attack, reverse the victim and offender. In other words, instead of focusing on, is he guilty of abuse, it is this victim believable? And that is where you find this conflation of worlds. They started to attack her ability. And this is not a strategy that works in a jury, in a judge-only case, because the judge in the UK sniffed it out and said, I see what you're trying to do with the Darvo strategy. It's not going to work. But this was tried by jury. And the jury represents the people. And the people and the court of public opinion deemed her guilty a long time ago.
Well, those activists who are talking about, victims' rights are really, really concerned about the outcome. When you take it away from this story, I think it is just more, like, obviously, it sounds like both of them really, really had, did some damaging things.
Yeah, it was a toxic relationship.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
sure.
But we
for
know
sure.
that, like, statistically, women are, and it's not to say that men are not victims of abuse, they are. That is unquestionable. But women are, by and large, much more likely to die at the hands of intimate partner abuse and intimate spouse violence. And I just think, what does this then do for anybody who's witnessing this? It's already so terrifying to come forward. So I just think we have to let, sit with that and the sad results of that.
It is, and I think that really is the danger of this particular situation, is that silencing effect it can have on women. We've just gone through the Me Too movement. We don't want to take a step backwards, and so I just think we have to be vigilant and aware as women, as viewers of the media, about where we come down and how we think of this topic.
Yeah.